So let's get to our PL superlatives. We said they'd be coming, and obviously we'll revisit these at the end of the season. But who's been your biggest surprise so far, or what's been your biggest surprise?
No, see, that I felt that was the worst because it has to be a little bit of a repeat. And I don't know how to explain. I know logically how to explain it, sort of, but it's difficult between Arsenal and Manchester United. And I just mentioned that because longer process by younger players that are coming through in a beautiful way for Arsenal. But yet, I think the biggest surprise for me is Manchester United because it's been a mess of epic proportion. Even this season, even when Ten Hag came in, I mean, everybody remembers the doubts, the Brentford games, the Ronaldo. As much as I thought that Ten Hag is a good manager, we doubted, well, Eredivisie, is that good enough? Truly, Ajax, okay. We've seen them in Champions League. They're capable, but there were so many buts. And I just think that the situation around the club was never healthy. Glazers and everybody else, and so many years now since Sir Alex Ferguson left, where it's just we can't recognize the club. And so for me, the turnaround now is, I think, the biggest surprise. And how tough he was making decision about Ronaldo and Maguire. That to me impressed me quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good one you've picked as well, because it almost got to the feeling with Manchester United that we were just expecting everything to not work for them again. And obviously, this time
I was.
Biggest disappointment then?
I have to go to, Liverpool Football Club, I think. I mean, it has to be. You could go Chelsea easily and maybe be an easier choice. But I think, I have to look at what happened to them with everything, with Roman Abramovich, with the war and quickly change of manager, new identity that we see right now, spending a lot of money, which is not unusual for Chelsea, but different profile of a player. I just still think that Liverpool, maybe I was naive because the time always comes when it's difficult to motivate yourself to win everything. I think Manchester City a little bit showing little cracks, but obviously they have a deeper squad. But I somehow thought that Liverpool are going to be contending for the Premier League. That was my call ahead of the season. So I have to own up to it because what's happening is not really good at the moment.
Best player, Nketiah, right?
Yes, for sure. No, I'm staying with Erling Haaland. It was for me between Saka and Erling, but at that age, just goals themselves, that's what he's getting paid for. That's his job, and we know how expensive that can be, right? To find a player that will give you something special, something consistent, because I'm pretty sure if he had 15 right now, I think that Manchester City would have been fairly happy with him. So, no, Haaland gets it, for sure.
Best newcomer. Could be the same, right?
Yes. I forgot about that category. Give me some ideas. I forgot about it. Look, I'm going straight. Usually I have my notes, but
Derby. We could get the coaches in here. Roberto De Zerbi. We could give some coaches.
And this is maybe, I don't know if statistics prove that. I know exactly who it is. I just needed to compose myself a little bit here, if I'm honest. And statistics may not prove that because we're talking player, not a club, right?
It's your choice. It's your no. You can pick anything you want. Player, manager, club, and it's your choice. Stats don't matter, Janusz.
So my choice is Palhinha and Fulham, because when I watch him, he doesn't get enough ink and he doesn't get enough talk, it seems to me, right? And maybe I get it, right? I mean, it's Fulham. Again, probably most thought that, again, Yo-Yo, maybe, I mean, I could throw Marco Silva in there too, but is that category? Maybe I'll save him. But look, Palhinha does something incredible. I watched him before that. As you know, sometimes, we had at Sporting, I thought he was a good player. When he came to Fulham, I thought it was a very good move on their part because for some reason, I actually thought that he can find a better club or bigger club, I should say. But, in the center of the midfield, I mean, all around, and we talk about the Casemiros of the world, right, who kind of, can be box to box and can tackle, can anticipate, can score from time to time, can set up goals. I think he's having a tremendous season. So let's stick with him.
It's a funny thing because there's a lot of these that could be the same name all through. The next one is best newcomer. Sorry, best young player. Best young player.
Oh, yes. I mean, I had, but that's going to be boring if I mention Haaland again, right? But I mean, why should we pretend? Let's give it to somebody.
Okay.
I mean, can we give it to Saka actually?
I think so. He's a young player. You just said he's England's
Oh,
best.
young. Okay, the young. Yeah. Okay, you're confusing me all these categories. Now I don't even know. No, let's give it to Saka. Let's give it to him because we gave it to Haaland. A tough call because if we're honest, numbers don't lie, but his numbers aren't bad either. And in terms of the most dangerous player and their weapon player that can not only score, but as I've said, great in combination play. It's got assists in him. Let's go with Bukayo Saka.
I like it. And let me just ask you something quickly about this, because I think it was Cesc Fabregas talking at the weekend saying what a great, well-rounded individual he is as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that off the pitch, but then on the pitch, he has a bit of bite and you can't mess with him either. And you wouldn't expect that,
I think, it's one of those that you have to have. Everybody's heard that story, right? That it doesn't matter about, your personality of the pitch. And I think you and I and everybody else listening knows players that are somehow, and the moment they step on the pitch, it's just like, who is this person, right? So, I don't know him personally. I've seen many interviews and that confirms what everybody's saying. It seems that way. But, sometimes people put on an act. I don't believe it's that. But, yeah, it's better to be that way, right? It's better to be kind of show that character on the pitch than off the pitch, at least from my experience.
Okay, so there is a category, as you were asking earlier, for best manager. It's our last category. Who are you going for?
I really want to give it to Marco Silva. I really do. We've had a taste of him, didn't we? I mean, when did he first came in? Was it Hull and then Watford, maybe? Watford, I think. And then we went to Everton. And we all know that Everton's not so easy. At the time, we weren't saying that maybe, but it's been a mess for a little bit as well. But I always felt when he left that he was a good manager. Sometimes you can be good and still not succeed because there's so many things that go into a football club as we know it. But I always felt that there was something about him as a manager, and what he's doing here is again exceptional. I could say, we could talk about Tom Frank because it's a similar situation, but I just think that I like the style of the team a little bit better than Brentford. I don't have anything against it the way they play him because he's their job was, let's not forget, their job was to stay in the Premier League. Clearly, number one job, and look where they are, and I just enjoy the way Fulham plays football.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.